Hi, this is Tech in the City. I'm Lily Bruns, and today we're hanging out at One Niman, speaking to founders who are creating the future enabled by remote work. This is episode 7, brought to you by Global Startup Hub and NIA. Would you care to introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
So my name is John Ho, and I'm originally from Hong Kong. I am also the co-founder of Alt Chiang Mai. It's a co-working and a co-living space inside the old city of Chiang Mai.
So you have some background in tech as well as in hospitality, right? So tell us a little bit about the career, professional journey that led you to this opportunity.
Right, so I spent about 10 years in hospitality in Hong Kong. So I worked with multiple hotels and events, caterings. Never thought I would be going back to that industry.
Yeah.
So there's that part. Now with the tech part, I'm not really like an engineer or an IT person. I'm more interested in social media, in marketing.
Yeah.
Online marketing and digital marketing. So for me, it's more understanding communities, how to create them online and offline, and can we actually build a space that is specific for a niche community, and in this case it's digital nomads or the remote workers, and enable them to do the things they want to do in the space.
Yeah, so share with us a little bit about your philosophy for this community that you're building here.
Right, so a lot of digital nomads like to travel around the world, and whenever they set foot on a new city or a new country, I think the first thing that you will need to get used to is getting familiar with the area, building networks or making new friends, and also finding a place that's easy enough for them to get work done. And a lot of times when you're starting off in a new country, this takes a lot of time, tremendous effort.
Of course.
And also you feel lonely to be doing this over and over and over again by yourself. So our thought was maybe we can ease the process of getting settled in a new place. We build an ecosystem that you can live inside without any hassle. It's like checking into a hotel. But it has the community factor in it, meaning you're not just in a hotel. You have residents that is of the similar background that you can interact together with. And on top of that, we also have a co-working space attached to the living areas, so that once you check in, you can actually start working right away. High-speed internet access, good coffee, nice community, and so no problem with getting settled. And we don't intend to keep those digital nomads or remote workers forever. Most of the time, we want to just become like a springboard, so that they come in for a couple weeks to a couple months, and then they can go off finding a bigger condo or living off with a few of their friends they make here, and then they can live in a pool villa or something.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
So I think, it's that assurance that you have quality Wi-Fi and caffeine so you can get to work, right?
Very important things.
Big, very important, non-negotiable parts of being a digital nomad, right? That's you're defined by the fact that you work online, that you work remotely. So these people come into your space. So you have the co-working side of it, that anyone can come join the co-working community, right? Whether they're a resident there or not. But you also have the co-living amenities so that people can just land in Chiang Mai and not have to think too much about separately trying to figure out all these different things about, sorting out a rental contract and, getting internet and all these basics. They can just land, arrive, and just plug into a ready-made community.
Exactly. Now, one thing we also want to emphasize is the design of the space. A lot of times you find a co-living space per se, but it's almost like converted from either a house or a hotel. And we find that we can actually better design the space, so we can facilitate activities so people can socialize easier. They don't feel like they have to make extra effort to just start a conversation and all that. So we actually rent an old guest house. We signed a long-term lease. We invested a lot of money in making sure all like the configurations, the infrastructure, everything is designed so that a remote worker or a digital nomad would feel really, really comfortable when they check into our place.
Yeah, let's talk about that side of it. And you've invested in creating this space, right? And you have a family here, and so you're pretty attached to Chiang Mai, growing roots here, and really trying to build something that's going to improve the future of Chiang Mai. Like, what's your vision? Like, what do you hope to see? More Hong Kong families here, the city filled to the brim with digital nomads, or what's John Ho's vision of how remote work and co-living, co-working will impact this community?
So the first time I came to Chiang Mai was about 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was younger. And when I first, experienced this place, I thought this is great. This is great for retirement. Things are cheap. It's a slower pace. It's nice and all that. But I'm not old yet. I'm not older yet. So I didn't think much about, okay, how should I make about being in Chiang Mai and all that. And so I think it was down the road that when I knew more about how Chiang Mai is so popular among the digital nomad, I started thinking whether there are opportunities here for even a younger crowd. Now, when I talk to friends from overseas, their impression of Chiang Mai is always, oh, it's very nice and it's very cheap. And that's about it, right? And I always think, yes, it's cheap here, but it's not only because it's cheap. So digital nomads or everyone loves to come here. There has to be more than just being cheap, right? So I kind of want to just, eliminate that word that would describe Chiang Mai for most people and say, it's very affordable, but on top of that, there's a lot of great things about here that people should also, enjoy and appreciate. And I think the community of digital nomad kind of started the whole movement, and so there's a good foundation of foreigners coming in here. But I think there's also those who demand a better quality of living, a better infrastructure. And I want to bring in that element that, at least in Hong Kong, we're proud of efficiency. We're proud of quality products. So I kind of want to transfer a little bit of that to here. So people who have a better job in terms of like a more stable income and they crave something that is better quality. And then there's something here in Chiang Mai that we can provide to them.
Absolutely.
So I think that's the drive to actually invest on my own savings to put into Chiang Mai, despite all the challenges we have.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, people say this is worth my money. I want to be in Chiang Mai not because it's cheap, but because they have a decent service and quality of products. Here.
Well, I think it's a strong flag to plant on a vision towards a better future, right? I think it's. So when you enjoy co-working and you bump elbows with other digital nomads, people who are also digital marketers, right? It's one of those things where sometimes co-working spaces can be terrible for getting things done when you happen to get distracted. You end up like talking shop with someone and learning new things from them, right? I think the digital nomad community has this strong sharing sentiment, right? Where everyone's like sharing knowledge and helping one another to sort of grow and learn new skills. And I think it's very interesting because the people who are knowledge workers, right? The people who were able to work online kind of represent like one of the more privileged groups in the world. And the people who are able to become digital nomads, they're able to work online, they're knowledge workers, and they often come from countries with strong passports, right? So they kind of like pioneered this movement. And so many of these people bring their privilege to a place like Chiang Mai. And I think it's really great where there are spaces like yours and others we've interviewed as part of this Tech in the City series, people who want to invest here, people who don't want to just come to Chiang Mai and just like get something from it, but also to give back and to sort of pay it forward, right? Because I think there's so many opportunities that can be created if we can help people to get a little bit more stuck in, right? So that it's not just a transient community, but the connections are made.
Definitely, I agree. I mean, one thing that I often think about when creating alt is how do we integrate the foreigner community with the local community? Because obviously there's a lot of knowledge and experiences from these foreign workers, and it's almost untapped.
Yeah.
And the interactions between locals and foreigners are also very limited in Chiang Mai. Now, obviously, there's an issue of communication because of language barriers. But I think as an operator myself, or as a lot of the co-working spaces out here, we do have a responsibility to enable that to happen. You know, how do we make it easier for different people from different backgrounds to really be together? For example, you know, can we do workshops that there will be a translator or an interpreter to help, you know, go across these language barriers, right? Or can we actually understand the needs of foreigners and the locals and make things comfortable for them?
Yeah.
When they coexist in the same space, doing the same activities. So these are all the things that I think about all the time. And I think this is also something that needs to be more discussed about.
Yeah. And how much of your own experience do you bring in to this project? Because, you know, you've transplanted yourself to create a life in Chiang Mai. And so, you know, you come from a different kind of environment as an entrepreneur. What are some of the lessons that you've learned about how to start a business in this context?
Well, my wife definitely helped a lot.
Yeah.
Her being Thai and her explaining things that I should or should not do here. And it's not often that a foreigner can have a trusted source of person to explain things.
Sure.
You know, so I think I'm fortunate. I'm lucky in that sense. But I think there's also the need of kind of lowering the self-ego and understanding that as a foreigner being in a different country, there's rules and there's cultural differences that, you know, you kind of have to just let it come through, and you might not understand it right away, but if that's how things are, then maybe try to embrace it.
Yeah.
I think that's quite important with me when I travel, with me when I started living in Chiang Mai. Not ask too many whys and just listen and maybe just do it, you know. That's at least how I think about this. Yeah, but I definitely see and the way that you're hosting events and bringing together people to help them collaborate in your space as well as, you know, trying to ease some of the frictions perhaps that you experience along the way, so the next generation of people, right? It's not just easily signing on to Wi-Fi and getting great coffee in an instant, but it's plugging into a community, it's plugging into a support system, right? It's designing that into your business as well, that I think can be so powerful. Definitely.
Can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
My name is Rainier Jensen, and I'm running team building events in Thailand since 2003. Since 2013, I started my own company in Chiang Mai, and as I said, we run team building, team training, and CSR projects for corporations.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the journey of the company of Tap Tour.
Yeah. So my passion has always been team building, and I think it's very helpful for companies. The journey is we started in 2013 for myself, basically looking at another angle of team building where we use technology, in this case mainly tablets, to enhance the efficiency of the training programs. Obviously, the first years were very hard, very slow, a lot of pushing, and then slowly we find different partnerships, and from there we grew.
Yeah, and so your company has been focused internationally since day one.
Yeah. I think team building in Chiang Mai or in Thailand is not that high on the priority list of the corporates here yet. So mainly we get international companies coming in. I must say in the last few years there is a higher interest because I think Thai companies are getting more global and have more the ideas of why teams are important.
Yeah.
So we're getting some team building requests or team training requests from the Thai companies, but mainly it's international companies, which obviously now during the last 1.5 years has been falling back a lot because they cannot come in anymore.
Okay, so much of the focus has been on the in-person aspect and the retreats, right?
Yes.
Kind of marrying technology and tourism in a way.
Yeah, correct.
So, since the pandemic, how have you been shifting your business to sort of explore new opportunities?
Yeah, so obviously now the remote work is a big thing, and what we have done is digitalized our innovative programs, activities. The benefit from our side was that we had most of the digital already. So what I said, we had team building and training programs where we use tablets. And the reason why we use tablets is because it's easier to communicate with large amount of people. It's more interactive. They can update more. And to transfer that to the online or remote activities was easy. Was pretty easy. Okay. Then the sales of it is a bit harder at the beginning because people are not familiar with it, and they think, well, how can we combine the remote work and the team building? Of how can we do team building remotely? So that was a bit of a challenge to see people the value of it. But that's picking up as well. Yeah.
So obviously we've had to quite rapidly shift to the reality of remote working, right? Due to restraints, so many people have started working from home for the first time. Many people who had never experienced remote work all of a sudden are now spending all their time on the screen in front of Zoom, right? And you were mentioning that you're trying to do something a little bit different, right? That like not all remote work is just Zoom meetings. Can you share a little bit more about that philosophy that you're bringing?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think the biggest aspect that people lose by working remotely and using a lot of Zoom is the connection with the team. Okay, so even you can send out a puzzle or a task to a person and they can do it, and it feels like they're doing something else than work, so like an activity. I think it's not connecting the team together. So what we do is we in corporations with the companies, we see, okay, what's your objective? But mainly it's communication skills and teamwork efficiency, right? So what we do is we create interactive activities where they actually have to work as a team. So for example, we can, due to the tablets, or actually we have web-based as well, we can form teams, online teams, and let them do tasks together. And this doesn't have to be only like, okay, solve 1 + 1 = 2 task online, but actually do something together where one person has to find out something here, the other one there. Quick example, we have a global remote, which is a world traveling program. So as a team, you get into the airplane, you can travel the whole world. You need to decide as a team where you're gonna go, and you can earn travel experience points, right? So for example, you find something on Google Maps, and as a team, you need to do an activity there, and then you get points for it, and then you can be a winner. So this takes them out of their normal work environment.
Right.
They're still looking at the screen a little bit.
Yes, the screens are often a prerequisite. But I think this is so interesting. What are some of the benefits that you sort of see amongst the teams that you work with? Because so much of work is just now work, right? If you haven't set up the right company culture, then you don't have the social interaction, you don't have the team engagement, the management structures.
Yeah, I think the benefit is more the informal side of it, more the connection again. Like in the end, if you're only sharing your work every day with your colleagues, it becomes a very, very narrow, focused path.
Right.
Well, if you can do some fun stuff so together, it always opens up the people a bit more.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest benefit. Yeah.
Right.
And of course, you can put training elements like communication and leadership, effective teamwork. You can integrate that in there.
Yeah, well, I guess an important reminder, right? Often when we think about workplace productivity, it's we think about work, but it's the social interactions, it's the social lubrication of having those relationships that can help people to work better, but also to be happier as employees and teammates, right?
Correct. And that doesn't mean that there is no benefit of remote work as well, of course, but I think that's the biggest challenge for companies to keep the teams engaged.
Yeah. Can you share with us a little bit more about maybe how you've seen this world evolve from your standpoint here in Chiang Mai? You've been building this company. You've seen sort of the digital nomad community emerge here. You've seen more and more people working online. So what's it been like to sort of observe that shift as you've been building this business here?
I think it's very interesting. I really think Chiang Mai is the perfect location for this. Because we have the right infrastructure, we have the nice community. It doesn't feel like you're in an office building, so to say, or even if it's remote, it feels like you're part of a community. Again, internet access and for events, all the resources are here. So I think it's a very good place. I mean, for me, the reason why I like to be here, obviously our main targets groups are in Bangkok or coming to Bangkok, so we have most business in Bangkok. But the main reason to be here is because it's easy to get anywhere you want while still having the community feeling. And you've never lacked for international customers, even though you're located here. No. We do run programs all over Thailand, actually all over Southeast Asia, and from Chiang Mai you can get anywhere within a heartbeat. So it's fine. Yeah,
definitely proving that it can work.
I do think what you say is correct. For the obviously the nomad life, so to say, has been growing a lot, and I think the reasons is that people don't have the need anymore to own a house, own a car at a specific place. They don't have the need anymore to drive to work every day, so they can be anywhere. And then why Thailand? Why Chiang Mai? Because cost of living is cheap, infrastructure is good. So why would you like to be somewhere else?
So you can get the best of many worlds here.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Right? So do you have any advice for entrepreneurs who want to follow in your footsteps, either for people who need advice to start a business in Chiang Mai, or for people who want to do better with remote working and team building?
Well, honestly, my advice for people to come to Chiang Mai is, it's a great place. For tips for online work, I would say try not to forget the social aspect. So don't become introvert, and make sure you connect with the team. It's productive for you and it's productive for your company as well. So
absolutely, embrace our humanity.
Don't lose it, right? I mean, there's the opportunities are there, and it's often forgotten. I think the impact of COVID socially is extremely hard. People have been basically living in little bubbles. On one side, they get a little bit closer to their local community, so not to the work community, but the local community, which I think that's nice. That's nice to see. You see little mom and pop shops going up and people selling stuff nearby, so to say. So the big things stop and we get lower communities. But for online working, for the corporates, I think they need to push this team building again, because the team efficiency is going down if you don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's your vision or your hope then for the professional community in Chiang Mai or in Thailand?
So, my hope for like digital nomads or for companies is, settle here. It's a good place. I think there's no reason not to be here. Obviously, my hope for the whole situation is to end. I love COVID to end and to start engaging live with people again instead of remote. But that said, we learned a lot from remote. As I said before, we have hybrid events. So this makes the world a lot smaller suddenly. So for example, you're a company in Europe and you have departments in different countries all over the world. then you can still do a hybrid event where you connect the people in different countries through a live stream remotely.
Yeah.
You can still do the activities. You don't have to pay for the flights to all go to one location. And with the technology we have this week, that can be arranged very well. So.
Yeah. So not taking it for granted that things have to be online or have to be in person, but using the right tool for the job,
Can
right?
be hybrid, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
Could you please introduce yourself? Tell us your name and tell us about your company.
Yep, sure. My name is Bank. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mana Work, like this logo. Mana Work is team management platform. It's like help team to work together, and especially in the nowadays, like you can start work from home and use our platform. You can work together easily.
How long have you been working on this company, and what inspired you to create the software?
Actually, I believe in the innovation and technology can help people and create more impact for actually so I built the company called LF Fintech, and my company is established in Chiang Mai, near Niman Hemin, around here. So our company do a lot of product. It's a kind of actually our work, we do like software house, and we help customer like government and big company to find a more solution to using the technology.
Yeah.
So for that, we think about to create more the productivity, but the problem is we don't find the good tools, good tools. That's why we like develop the Mana Work, the team management platform for our company first.
Yeah.
Then I give this platform, give this software to our customer.
Yeah.
For example, I give to the government department, and I give to some institution or the bank or government bank to try our software, and they love it.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Actually, I built Mana Work, this platform, like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And actually, certainly maybe beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Starting the COVID-19.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of small business and many entrepreneur need some tool.
Yes.
They are looking for some tool.
Absolutely.
That's why Mana Work is quite more popular.
Yeah.
At the beginning of last year.
Right. So
Yeah.
the pandemic has affected almost everyone's business, but for you, it has actually been a new opportunity
Yes.
in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are many tools out there, many different SaaS platforms for project management, for team collaboration, right? But not many things are built for the Thai market. So in creating the solution, how did you make your product different to suit the needs of this market, to make it more friendly to Thai people?
Let me start with Thai traditional way, Thai culture.
Yeah.
They love to like work with face to face at the same office.
Yeah.
And for my experience, they never use the digital tool.
Yeah.
They love to work with the paper. And do you believe it? Do you think about when COVID coming to Thailand and tomorrow you have start work from home,
Yes.
and suddenly you have to find some tool. Okay. They use some tool called Line,
Yeah.
Facebook, but it cannot solve that problem.
They're not built for work.
Yes, and this is the one reason. The second reason, because of Thailand culture, they love to speak Thai.
Yeah.
They love to speak Thai and they want to Thai and Thai help each other. That's why Mana work is the answer.
Yeah.
And what your question? How we different? Our designer and our technology, we design like easy for Thai people.
Yeah.
We use framework. We use template that Thai people
Maybe more familiar
more
with.
familiar. Yes,
Yeah.
like they use OKRs. They use KPI.
Yeah.
And that's we know about the way they work.
Yes.
And then we build to the digital way.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you've taken your knowledge
Of office cultures and productivity and management styles and built that into your platform, right?
Do you think because people now have had to change their office culture and learn to adapt to new tools, do you think this is something that will stick around? Do you think that after the pandemic, do you think in Thailand everyone will want to go back to the office? Or do you think that people will embrace remote work?
I agree with the traditional way. And I think every gen young people they love with the freedom.
Yeah.
So I think for after COVID, post COVID-19, I think should be balanced. Okay, you can go to work office maybe like few days a week.
Yeah.
And after that you can work anywhere.
Yes.
I think COVID-19 like create changing our working life.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So, you know, the ways that we are seeing this change now, maybe people will have hybrid offices, right? Sometimes you go to the office in person, sometimes you work from home, maybe we'll see more of a mix. How do you think maybe this will change the culture? How do you think this will have a bigger impact on the future of cities, maybe?
You can see.
Yeah.
You can see the sign, the sign of the Thai government. Thai government, they got policy that like make staff of the government officer work from home.
Yeah.
For make the impact to the Thailand, I think this is the good start that government act first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you have a unique perspective, right? Because there are many different government agencies, including the NIA and Startup Thailand, to promote technology. But the way that many times the government works is still very traditional. So you've been part of introducing a technology and helping these departments become more digital themselves, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
I try to do because it's not easy to let big firm or government digitalize everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very hard, but we try to. I mean we is me and government to help each other to like introduce the technology with the Thai people and the idea of the working remotely.
Yeah.
Not everyone. Not everyone. You have to like let people who are ready to work. I mean, you have to train people how they can work remotely. Or if some staff not ready, you don't allow them to work from home. I think it's very impact to your business or impact to your team.
Yeah.
Have to like put the right man on the right job.
Yes.
So training people, using the right tool for the right job, being good at managing people, and helping them to succeed as well, right? Many different parts of it.
Yes, right. For my company, actually I have the head office in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
But we also remote with my team. Some of my team in the Phayao, City and in the Bangkok as well.
Yeah.
So it means we already proved that
Yeah.
okay, we can work remotely.
Community of digital nomads.
Team building in Chiang Mai.
Remote work is the future.
Hybrid and remote work.
Tech community in Chiang Mai.
This has been Tech in the City, brought to you by Global Startup Hub CNX.
Thank you for watching. My name is Earn, producer of the Tech and the City series.
And I'm Lily Bruns. Until the next time. Follow us on Facebook at Global Startup Hub Thailand, on YouTube at Startup Thailand, or visit us on the web at globalhub.startupthailand.org.